Morning everyone, welcome back to the channel and a new video. I'm sitting in the truck again. I'm sitting in the truck again. It's a bit earlier than normal, setting off because I'm actually going quite far for the car you can see in the thumbnail. It's actually down near Terminal 5 Heathrow, so a couple of hours and possibly even longer sitting on the motorway. So you can see by the thumbnail, it's quite special, this car. 330 CI Club Sport. There's not really that many of them around and they are getting quite rare now. So the owners reached out to me on Instagram, sent me his number, said, Rob, would you be interested in this? He paid a lot of money for it when he bought it, and it's got an intermittent gearbox fault, so just a bit of limp mode really. No, the car still runs and drives, but it does keep going into limp mode. So he told me a price he'd like for it, and of course I was dead interested in that car because it's the right colour, Estral blue. Let's not even talk about it, let's not get into it. Before I set off all the way to Heathrow, I am going to do a quick car vertical check. As long as that all checks out alright, I'm sure we're going to buy it. Let's get that done. I've punched the chassis number in, it's come up, BMW 3 Series, and we've got all green ticks there, which is exactly what we want. If there is an issue, one of those would be amber. There's an MOT failure there, it gives you all the MOT history and previous MOT failures and advisories. Stolen vehicle check performed in all of those countries. Mileage, the little graph there that we do like, that you can actually go through and it shows you that there's no mileage discrepancies and it's all heading the right way. Here's one we're going to use today as an example, and as you know, it's our Escort RS Turbo, and it comes up there, mileage discrepancy in amber. As you can see, you get a graph of the mileage and it's gone up and then all the way back down and then started creeping back up again. And it does say there, odometer may be altered, problem found. Guys, I want to thank Car Vertical once again for sponsoring today's video and continuing to supply these checks. Check out the link in the description to get 10% off your check. Let's go and buy this car. That's how close we are today, guys. I've just arrived. What a beautiful looking car. The chap said he parked it in the garage just before lockdown, so you can do an MOT history check to confirm that. He said it actually run out of MOT, so he's come to the garage, decided to recommission it after the lockdown, started it up, all starts fine, but when he puts it in gear, it's come up with a transmission fault. He said it was perfect when he parked it in here, but now it is making a bit of a clonking noise from park to reverse. So we may get away with a gearbox service, it may be a gearbox. I have already rung up and started making a few inquiries about a gearbox, but a garage kept car, and it really does look nice. Look at these aeroplanes, guys, how close we are. Bit noisy today, we're right down near Heathrow. We'll probably get quite a bit of that actually. Yeah, very nice car, Estral blue, black leather. Let's get it out and have a proper look round it. Just pulled it out into this little car park to have a proper look, guys. But you can tell it's just been really looked after, and I think we're going to have it. Let's get it loaded up, we'll have a proper look when we get to the yard. Always turns out to be the same when you think you're going to have a nice early day. I set off at about 9 o'clock just after the traffic. It was probably my best drive around the M25. I didn't get caught in any traffic at all. And then coming home, there was a little fender bender on the hard shoulder and everybody stopped for 10 miles. I ended up sitting there for half an hour, but back now, let's get it unloaded. The gearbox light is on. Chris, I just unloaded it. I said have a little run up and down the yard in it and see what you think of it. I did say to the guy, this could be something simple. Are you sure you want to sell it? And he said, honestly, it's got to go. It's got no MOT. It's got the light on. and I don't want it anymore. So I was quite happy to buy that car. I've spoke to Tyler. He said, Rob, the chances of it being a gearbox is highly unlikely. Has it really? Put it back in drive. That's unbelievable. Tyler said, I was just saying then, it's highly unlikely it's going to be the gearbox because it's 66,000. But what I am going to say, guys, for those of you that don't know, if a battery gets quite low on a car where it starts like winding over really slow, that will throw up a load of faults. And I did say to him, it could be something as simple as that, but the guy still wanted to get rid of it. Tyler said it's highly unlikely to be the gearbox. It's going to be the little bit on the side of the gearbox. So my plan is, I've actually booked it in for an MOT in about an hour's time. We're going to plug the computer in it, do a code read, take a note of what codes are on there, then clear them, and I'm actually going to drive it for an MOT, give it a good run, and then we'll plug it in and see how we get on the way back. So I'm using this computer the same as last time, guys. I will put a link for it in the description. It is quite expensive. We actually got sent this one and it's turned out to be quite handy, but same as on the van, we're only at 20% and that will take some time to get to 100. So I'll cut in and show you if there's any codes right at the end. Considering there wasn't any dash lights on, we've plugged it in. It's actually done a full scan and it's a bit like a Christmas tree, to be honest. That's got so many faults. I've got Chris standing here right behind me and he just, what did you say, mate?
Oh well, that's voltage.
Where the voltage of the battery is so low and it's been cranked over and cranked over, that's more than likely, most likely, what would have caused all of these. So what I am actually going to do is go through all of these, read the codes, take a note of them, clear the codes. What's that one there? Plausibility, accelerator and brake pedal. Yeah, all of these have got to be something to do with the cranking it.
I think what it is, Rob, is when you crank it on a low battery,
yeah,
a lot of the electronics on the car are designed to work within a parameter of, say, 15 volts and maybe down to 9 volts. And when the cranking drags it below that,
it's giving it a fault.
It thinks it's a fault.
Yeah.
It thinks a component has failed, but it's not. It's just you've sent it haywire because everything's gone.
What we got here? Gearbox switch. Right, very, very interesting. So gearbox switch, we'll have to remember that. PO705. You got that written down?
PO705.
Right, so we go back and we clear that as well. Do you know what, guys? I am going to actually still record this because I need to know what the codes are because Chris is typing them down on his phone. So I'm going to go through, clear all of them, and we are going to run this car for an MOT because I'm convinced this is all battery related. And by the time we get back from MOT, we're going to know because we're going to plug it back in and do it all again. I really am led to believe that we got lucky here, guys. We was just going through and at least 3 or 4 of them, what did they say? Under voltage. So I'm led to believe that that's possibly what it is. We've done another complete system scan and not one of those has come back. Let's head off for an MOT and see how we get on there. Guys, I've just took it for an MOT. Left it running the whole time, just in case the battery. MOT Leicester said it's lovely. And the gearbox, that's 3rd, 4th, 5th. It's perfect.
Smooth, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just nothing wrong with it. And kick down. That's both kick downs. And they're fine. I'll go out into the fast lane. And we'll flick it into manual. 3rd gear. 4th. 5th. I just can't fault this car. The MOT man said it's really nice underneath. Bit of surface rust, what you'd expect on the lower arms, on the rear diff, and a bit on the exhaust, but he said it's fine. What I did notice, I just said to Chris, when I come over the bridge, you can probably just about see that, Chris, can you? It has got the slightest wobble. It is going to want balancing up, yeah. Or one of the tyres is low in pressure, because I haven't checked them, and it has got 4 brand new Avon tyres on it, so I just can't fault it. What we are going to do is go back, plug it in one more time and just see if any of those faults have come back. But genuinely, what a lovely car. Listen to that. They sound so nice. And of course, it's 70 mile an hour very quickly, so we'll have to take it easy. Yeah, we'll get back to the yard and plug it in. I thought I'd spare you all the loading up. I've just done another one of those searches and it's come up there with one code in there. And that is, hopefully you can see it guys, it is a little bit bright out here today. Read fault code. Hall sensor seat carriage open circuit. Now the chap did say to me, this seat here, driver's seat, see it's, hear it clicking? You have to keep double clicking it. It's playing up. But he actually told me about that. You in that boot, Chris? Yeah, a bit of bubble wrap there, that's it. That was actually included with the sale. He knew that that switch was faulty, so it was in the box in the back, so we got the switch for it. So I'm quite happy. There's no fault codes come back with that gearbox. I think next step is going to be, definitely, Chris just said, run it round A2, get it balanced and tracked, just get it double checked. And then also, has this zoomed right out? I'm too close here. Also, I'd like to get it cleaned. You don't see that often, mate. No, they ain't even been used, have they? That's good, isn't it? That's the spare wheel for my truck there. And of course, make sure that's not, I was just going to get that opened up. It's that CD changer. Yes. Also, got the history there. Can we just make sure that the logbook's not in the, can you take that out, Chris, just because it's got the guy's name on it. Got the service book here. And the guy showed me as soon as I got there. Sorry, I should have been more prepared for this, guys, and had it open. There we go. So, all BMW. That's 37,000. And that's BMW as well. 65,000 miles. Micro filter and an oil service. So, that's not 2018. It's going to want oil and filter. Yeah. But unfortunate because it's only actually done just over 1,000 miles since. It's come with all the proper paperwork. It's come with all 3 keys. It's such a lovely car. What's in there, mate? Got a little bag there.
It's the first aid kit.
Yeah, it is, yeah. Yeah, Chris just noticed as well in the glove box. He said the back seats don't even look like they've ever been sat in. And he opened the glove box where the new MOT is. And the torch is in there. And it works. Unbelievable. Let's get it round A2 tyres, get it tracked up and get a nice clean done on it as well. Unfortunately, guys, I've had the music on in here all the time and now it's just turned over to someone talking, but they are actually going to balance all 4 wheels. Just check them. It has got 4 tyres, so it couldn't have been that long ago that it was done. And after that, they're going to move it on and do the tracking for me. He said all 4 tyres was all over the place. The balancing on them was miles out. So they now just took it onto the tracking machine and they're going to double check that that's all alright. Tracking is perfect. I knew that when I was driving it. It drives in a perfectly straight line. But the balancing, like he said, was all over the place. Sorry guys, I know that was really noisy and you could hardly hear me. And it looks like we're somewhere different today having the tracking done, but we're not. We're round at A2 tyres. They've just got a few places, and this one here in Sittingbourne's really close to my house, and I'd left the yard to come here and get it done. So quite happy. All the wheels are balanced up now, bang on. This car, the tyres say 2018, the date on them, and that last service when we looked in the book was 2018. So I think this went into BMW, it was serviced 1,000 miles ago and had 4 new tyres fitted. Why he had the wheels off, I had a look. Looks like it's got all new brake pads around it as well. So this is turning out to be a really, really nice car. Let's head round and get it cleaned. So I've drove the car home. I stopped after the tyre place and just had the outside cleaned, had it all washed up, and it has come up beautiful. But there is a fault with this car. That vibration I felt when I was on my way back from MOT, it was quite horrible. And after I slowed down and then picked up again, that vibration went. When I just left the tyre place and I was driving to the car wash, about halfway there, that vibration come back. I think that possibly the prop bearing's gone on this car. So I'm going to pick up in the morning, we're going to chuck it up on the ramp and have a look. There's definitely something not right though. It vibrates through the whole car, a lot worse than what I was showing earlier on the steering wheel. It seems a lot worse now, so we'll have a look in the morning. It's the next morning, let's see if that gearbox light stayed out. Fingers crossed. Yeah, that ain't come back on. Like I say, it was a little cog down here. Let's get it warmed up and get to the yard. So driving to the yard this morning, no problems at all. But I could hear that a slight rubbing noise. I don't know where it was coming from. Chris did say yesterday the brake discs did look a little bit little bit dirty, but this car has been sat for quite a while, so it needed a good run. Also, on the brake test at MOT, they was perfect, and as you can see, it has got new pads on it. So that vibration I was talking about, I actually left the car running when I got to the yard and said to Chris, jump in it, I want to take you for a drive in it. And we actually went down the dual carriageway, all the way back down again, and let it warm up. That's when the vibration is intermittent. And I was saying to Chris, I just can't put my finger on it. As you can see, we have removed the viscous fan. And that was Chris's first fault. He said, that's the only thing that's cutting in and out while you're driving or while you're stationary. So we are led to believe that that is our issue. We've actually took it off. It's actually got a bit of play in there, hasn't it, that fan? So I've just got off the phone to Tyler and we're going to head there and pick up one of those. But in the meantime, we are going to lift it up in the air and spin all of the wheels by hand just to try and rule out. Chris did just poke his fingers around as well and said that backing plate this side is very, very tight to the actual, that's the backing plate there, very tight to the disc. I can't even feel a gap. So we're going to get it up in the air and check through all of those as well. Quite dark, guys. We're videoing on Chris's phone, so we're time-lapsing on mine, but this is the sound.
That's disc on pad.
It is, isn't it? The discs have got, if you come around here, Chris, the discs have got no ridge on them at all, but they're not new, but the pads are brand new, so what are we thinking? A bit of driving to clear that,
exactly,
isn't it?
Exactly that.
We know that it's only done a few miles.
In 2 years.
Yeah, in 2 years. And also, the fact that it's been sat in that garage. It's nice that it was in the garage because these haven't gone all rusty, but can't sell that like that.
I think that'll wear off.
That will, it will wear off, won't it? I think we've had it worse on other cars, haven't we? And this one, there's a little bit
That's
there.
dragging a little bit.
It is dragging a little bit because it's not spinning that one.
We might have to have a look at the caliper.
I think we'll have them all off.
Yeah.
The front calipers, wind them back, pump them out, and just go right through them.
I think so.
But at least we found a vibration problem. Let's head to Charing and pick up a viscous fan. We had to run down to Charing Bridge M Recycling. There's our old one. There's a nice new one there with 60k on it. And he said that's perfect. Guys, I will put their number in the description down the bottom, but if you do need any BMW spares, there's their number there, Tyler or Ian. We just had a little bit of a chat on the way back from Charing. We are going to get that fan actually fitted on the car put the shroud and that back on, and we're actually going to lift it up in the air and just go through the brakes. We're going to take all the pads out, wind the pistons right back, just make sure that none of them are seized up. And my actual plan for this car, we just both agreed, because it hasn't been used for quite some time, Chris just said, Rob, do you know what? Just carry on using it. I don't want to put loads of miles on it because it is a nice low mileage car. But I'm actually going to run and try and do 300-400 miles in this. I'm actually going to use it for a daily car. So even if me and Claire have got to go out anywhere, over the next week or so, we're going to use this car just to get everything worn in, get the brakes all nice, and make sure it is 100% before I put it up for sale, because it's that nice. There's nothing left to do on it. That's the Fiscus fan all back in. We haven't run it yet. Like I said, I'm going to be test driving it for quite some time, so that's fine. I actually popped out, and you can see Chris completely stripped these down. He's had the calipers right off, wound the pistons all the way back, and you can see now they got a nice bit of copper slip on them, and he's gone right through them, and the noise is completely gone. So that we're confident that'll be fine now, mate, won't it? Then that's all it really wanted. It has been sat for quite a while, so we're pretty much there with this car now. Little bit of a weird, different ending to this video, something that we've not done before, but we've actually been asked not to disclose how much we have paid for the car. So that makes it a little bit awkward for us, because transparency is us, and we like to say what we paid for it, how much we spent on it, and how much we're going to sell it for, and ultimately the pre-tax profit that we're going to earn out of it. So we're not going to say the price of what we paid for the car. I believe it was very, very reasonably priced, and Chris said I think it was a cheap car. But we did just decide that we can say that we're going to earn, as long as this car is all perfect, which we believe it is, we're going to earn a minimum of,
well, we'd like to earn
a minimum of £1,200 out of that car, but it could be upwards £1,600-1,800, depending on what we do ask for it. But of course, like I said, I'm going to chuck a month's tax on it, and everywhere I'm going to go, you're going to see me in that car using it, because I want to put some miles on it and just make sure that there's no long-term issues with it. So unfortunately, that is going to be the end of the video on the BMW. The first video, I know you do like them, where we buy it in one video and it's all done and finished. And that is it. I probably will advertise it once it's all done on Instagram, so you guys will see how much it is on there. So that is going to be the end of today's video. If you haven't already, follow us on Instagram at Salvage Rebuilds for the little sneak peeks. Check out the merchandise. The link is down below in the description. Like, subscribe, share on all your social networking sites, and we'll see you very, very soon in the next one.